Mr. Solano's on his way.
He said he'll be here.
There we go. Welcome to our regular board meeting of February 22nd, 2022. We're calling this meeting to order at 5:34. Item number 1, roll call. Present.
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 Absent.
Present.
Thank you, Mrs. Rojas. Item number 2, approve agenda of regular board meeting of February 22nd, 2022. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion to approve.
So, Mrs. Flores?
First or second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call. Ms. Flores?
Aye.
Stanzioni?
Aye.
And aye. Motion carries 3-0. Item number 2, open session. Item 1, pledge of allegiance. Ms. Yareli Perez, would you mind leading us? Thank you.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. Item number 2, student board representative report. Ms. Yareli Perez and Ms. Emily Anaya.
Our announcements for Van Wyck Elementary. Van Wyck would like to send a heartfelt appreciation to our Bassett School bus drivers today, as it is School Bus Drivers Appreciation Day. We thank them for their efforts in getting students to and from school, driving students to field trips and to sporting events safely each and every day. Students are showing improvement in the areas of math and reading, as can be seen in our results from iReady, and now most recently in their trimester 2 benchmarks. Van Wyck looks forward to analyzing the data and taking action to continue this upward trend. Teachers will be using planning time over the next month to continue to improve our response to intervention program and plan intervention and enrichment for the rest of the school year. Please look out for our invite to the coffee with the principal on March 4th. The topic is parent resource tools like Parent Square, Class Dojo, and Parent Portal. Trimester 2 comes to a close this Friday. Report cards will be sent home on Friday, March 4th. As we come to the close of the second trimester, we want to continue to encourage our students to do their best and finish out the year strong. It has been a winding road this year, this school year, with COVID protocols and the most recent surge in cases, but we are confident that with the support of our parents, teachers, and school staff, we can achieve these great things. Thank you.
Our announcements for Bassett High School. To start off our announcements, we want to congratulate our varsity basketball player, Ali Mejia, on being awarded All-League MVP. Your Bassett family couldn't be more proud of you. Baseball has their first game next Thursday, and softball has their first game on March 3rd, both home games. Good luck, Olies. Today, we had the seniors dress up as senior citizens to celebrate February 2nd, 2022. And we also had a school dance-off at 2:22 p.m. Today was the first day of our social media challenges. The first challenge was to take a picture with the security guard, and our second challenge tomorrow is to take a picture with the lunch lady. We can't wait to see those pictures. Azusa Pacific University is coming tomorrow to interview our scholars and offer admissions. Good luck, students. Next week on March 3rd, we will have 8th grade orientation, and welcome our class of 2026. We are so excited to meet our future Olympians. Lastly, we want to give a huge thanks to our Superintendent Alvarez for everything he is doing for our school. We appreciate it very much. And that concludes our announcements for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perez and Ms. Naya. Item number 3, public comments related to closed session items. This is the appropriate point in the agenda for those present to speak with regards to any closed session items on the agenda. Only topics specific to the actual closed session items will be heard at this time. Topics which do not address closed session items will be heard during the open session comments. First, we have William. Okay. Go ahead, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, Superintendent Alvarez, Assistant Superintendents, good evening. My name is William McCandless. For the last 14 years, I have been the physics teacher at Bassett High School. I'm concerned for the district that 14 years ago gave me the opportunity to come and join the Bassett family. Back then, we had people like Robert Watanabe, Cindy Bird, and Carolyn Pruitt to encourage and guide us and help us be better at what we do. Today, it seems that things have become more adversarial. Many teachers feel unappreciated, unsupported, dictated to, and even at times threatened. Seemingly serfs to be ordered, not co-laborers to be working together. My biggest concern is who will come after us. Many of us in Bassett are getting up there in age. I expect that I personally will retire sometime in the next 3 years. Many of my colleagues are approaching that age as well, and as we leave, who will come to replace us? Who will be willing to come and replace us? Looking around, there are several districts that pay substantially more than Bassett. This last fall, we had extreme difficulty in finding enough subs to cover our classes when we had to be out. Why? At least in part, due to the difference in daily pay for subs between Bassett and the surrounding districts. But not just subs, teachers and classified too. One colleague recently calculated that even if we receive a 25% pay increase, outlandish, I agree, we would still be substantially below that of our surrounding districts. A custodian I spoke to recently said he was seriously considering applying to another district due to the difference in pay. And I heard just recently that a highly qualified teacher who was needed at one of our schools and who wanted to come and join us said, "No, I'm sorry, I just can't take that large a pay cut." Media reports that there are fewer students enrolling in teacher preparation programs. If this is indeed the case, these new teachers will be highly sought after. Will we be able to attract them to come and make Bassett their career? If we are to have the highly qualified faculty our students deserve, you are going to have to do something to make Bassett more attractive. Personally, over the last 7 years, my take-home pay has decreased by $700, in excess of $700. I would say you need to bring our pay scale at least to par with those surrounding districts in order to attract a replacement.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
very much.
McCandless. Jackie Larson.
Good evening. Before I get started, I'd like to let you know that we have a BTA communique that Ms. Mahaffey is going to give to the board. Okay, I'll go ahead and get started. Good evening, Board, Superintendent, and community. My name is Jackie Larson. I have been a teacher at Torch Middle School for 18 years. I've loved every minute of that time, but something is different. My grandkids have grown up here. I'm sorry, I get emotional. My grandkids have grown up here and one promoted from Torch last year. I felt confident enough to bring her here. This year has been different. There has been a sinking feeling of disrespect. That disrespect has caused anger in people I have never seen angry, and teachers ready to put in applications in other districts. In fact, I have looked at pay scales in the district where I live that will take up to 14 of my 18 years and pay me $10,000 more than I am making now. I have never looked at another district having faith that this is a year that we will be treated right. Even when I was laid off, I kept the faith and didn't look elsewhere. My daughter tells me now, Mom, you better move. But I don't feel I can yet. I still have a little faith. But then I hear that a new hire left before starting because they couldn't get their years honored and would take a pay cut. Our new teachers are looking for second jobs to make ends meet and are considering other districts where they can make up to $20,000 more a year. Should I consider a change? Each and every one of the teachers here tonight have taken capturing kids' hearts to their own hearts long before the program came into being. And as for me, leaving this community would be like leaving my heart behind. I apologize. Financially, 3 to 4 years ago, I started working adult ed and changed my insurance to bronze level so I wouldn't have to pay out of pocket in order to survive. Guess what? I'm now paying out of pocket due to no raises and very little on benefits. I pay gas prices, grocery prices, mortgage the same as you do. But as you can see by our BTA's flyer tonight, our admin has received more than 10% raises and teachers less than 4%. Oh, that disrespect. Now, I like a bonus once in a while, and I know we've gotten a couple, but it isn't going to help my retirement or my insurance premiums. We teachers are being portrayed by our own district as greedy and money hungry. All we really want is a fair wage and a chance to eat dinner out once a week without feeling like the budget is broken. Please return the respect we once had and deserve across that bargaining table. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Larson. Up next, we have Apollonia Sullivan.
Good evening, decent teachers. Good evening, board members. I wasn't going to speak on this, but I have to with the budget and the taxes imposed on our properties and the lack of trusted teachers at times where our children can attend this school. I guess that's just a part of the issue. But I've sit here and I've looked at the numbers, and according to Chief Financial Officer, we're not solvent. I believe there's miscommunication with your leadership. I don't know where I was told by a teacher that $60 million are reserved just waiting and throttle, and they're holding it from you. That would be so unethical. These are hard times. I'm retired in so many years, the first time that the city refuses to give me what is mine, legally mine, my raise with the cost of living. My husband didn't get a raise. I'm not trying to compare, but I think the politicians and the big companies have reached their goal of getting richer, and we're all victims of it. So I'm saying this not to feel that you're being picked on. I picked on the abusive teachers and I call them by name. So there's no confusion there, and it's good teachers here. Hopefully that at least your out of pocket can be fiscally responsibly addressed by the board, because if that's not the case, maybe the good teachers that exist here and are so vital to this community do need to make choices of where they work, and that will collapse this district because they're the ones holding the fort. There's no doubt in my mind. So hopefully, at least that conversation can happen with out of pocket, because I understand out of pocket. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Gabriela Figueroa.
Good afternoon, board members. Enough is enough. Hi, my name is Gabriela Figueroa, and I'm here to support our parents. There are no greater essential workers than our teachers and nurses. For some reason, we are overworking them and underpaying them. We consider them lifesavers, full-time babysitters, educators, therapists, family mediators, parental figures. And the list can go on and on. It has been said that the reason we cannot give them what they deserve is because it will hurt our community and students. Students are already being affected during these hard times. What we need is for our teachers to feel appreciated, respected, and well paid, so they can give their all to our suffering students. Money is not being allocated properly. We don't have substitute teachers because the district pays so low that the substitute teachers do not want to come and substitute. And our students are being cramped up into 2 classes. And I've been there to see that. And they're not there learning. They're just babysitting 30 kids in 1 class. Give them therefore, like I said, education, the district is mismanaging taxpayers' money only to fulfill their pockets and the pockets of their family and friends. The sale of all those needless programs. We need staff. Parents need to learn what Bassett District is doing to our teachers and their children. The district office staff gets paid top 4%, and our teachers are being paid less. How unfair is that? Please do what's right for our kids and our teachers and our community and stop lying.
Thank you, Ms. Figueroa. Next, we have Jorge Avila, and it's being donated 3 minutes by Penny Wolf.
Good evening, Bassett community, board members, superintendent. But also my fellow teachers, future teachers listening from their colleges, current teachers listening from other school districts, and those teachers who might be interested in our district. What I'm about to tell you is already known by our school board, superintendent, and teachers. What I'm about to tell you is mostly to be on record and for our community to know. I am one of those teachers who makes hundreds less a month. This happened because insurance has gone up and the district contribution does not keep up. I have to find extra hours of work to make up for salary. Whether it's FedEx over the summer, waiting tables, Saturday school, or after school tutoring. My weekends and summers are not free to spend with my daughter. They are full of sacrifices to make up for lost pay. Unlike most jobs, when I do work extra hours here at the school, I'm not paid my hourly wage, nor am I paid double time or time and a half. Instead, I am paid a negotiated rate of $41 an hour, about half my pay. That is correct. When I work extra hours, I make half. There's no opportunity for double time or time and a half. And if you do get your daily rate, you consider yourself lucky. Tonight, I'm also here to talk about our first year teachers. the future of this district. Our current salary for a first-year teacher with a bachelor in credential is $44,479.49. Let's compare that to 2 other districts in our area. They got these current, Baldwin Park wasn't current, so I didn't pick it up, but I picked up these 2. A first-year teacher at Mountain View and El Monte is paid $53,000, column 1, step 1, $53,448, $8,960 more than Bassett. And a first-year teacher at Hacienda La Puente is paid $62,471, $18,000 more than Bassett. And let's say that we are lucky to get a real 10% raise. Our new starting salary for first-year teachers would be $48,958. That would still put a new teacher $4,490 less than Mountain View and $13,513 less than Hacienda La Puente. I tell you this as we just had another teacher decline a position at Bassett. Shockingly overpaid. Currently, we have a 6th grade class who has had 4 principals and 5 teachers this year. And that is not the only class in this district that's had that problem. The new teachers not only feel the poor pay, they see how they are treated by the district, and they have options. What will happen when those teachers resign and go work at another district or another job? How many classrooms will be affected? How many repeats will we have of 5 teachers a year? As a parent of a daughter in the school district, I share the frustrations of parents as well. My daughter, like yours, lost a year's worth of learning. She fell behind during the pandemic. Even as a teacher, I have struggled to get her back to grade level. It's hard. I'm disappointed that there hasn't been tutoring after school. She was even looking forward to Saturday school. And to be honest, I was hoping tonight we'd be even talking about summer school, enrichment programs, after school, and so much more for our community. I'm waiting to hear the district's plan to help me make up the learning loss for my daughter. There's a reason your teachers are not working Saturday school or tutoring, at least currently at this moment. And I strongly suggest that the parents of the community come and find out why. Come talk to your teachers. We have facts to share with you. I want to end this on a positive note because not everything is negative about Bassett. I want to say thank you to 3 amazing educators in this district. Ms. Munoz, hopefully you're listening online. I don't know if you're here or not. Last year, you did an amazing job as both a kindergarten teacher for my daughter and a computer tech for my mom. And it's stuff that only legends are talked about and we'll hear about in history books. Mrs. Reyes, she even came and gave me my daughter's homework. She didn't come in today. She gave me my daughter's homework, said, here you go. There you go for your daughter. Mrs. Reyes, you're determined hard work to get my daughter back to grade level. It's not gonna notice. And finally, Principal Morales, you have put an amazing school together, even in a pandemic. My daughter loves school. She loves PJ Day, Pajama Day, her college chant, Van Wyck, and all the little things that give the school an extra touch. Bassett has great schools. Bassett has great teachers. Thank you to all of you who put in your hard work. And thank you to the community of Bassett for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Avila. And lastly, we have Ms. Flores.
Thank you. I had asked, and if it's okay with my fellow board members, I signed up for public comment.
You have to do it.
Oh, I have to go? Okay, good evening, Bassett. At the last board meeting, during public comment, there were, the closed session, there were questions. Stand up if. With all the applause and everything that happened that ensued after that, I was not able to hear past stand if you are a teacher. Okay, so I am not a teacher. I am not a staff member. I'm a Bassett Unified School Board member that was elected by the community. As a board member, I do support Bassett, and I recognize that Bassett is our students, our families, our community, and our district staff. Each of these areas is important to the success of our district. Remember, it takes a village. So as our community member mentioned in the last board meeting, asking us all to work together, I remind us all, let's work together so we can get to our goal faster. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Flores. Item number 4, closed session. The board will be going into closed session at 6 p.m.
Do they touch is the question, and nobody touches. That's it. Seahawks is going to win here, map number 1, so they fight, but they miss the point. Final 2 meter, nobody's going to touch, and we have a tie series.
What a play, what a play.
The overtime clock runs, the wrecking ball is there, but the wrecking ball doesn't touch, and Seahawks able to get themselves a second point. And look where this teleporter is, by the way. They teleport on top of the ramp, and no one's there. Nobody's there. That ticket's already going to get gotten. And ladies and gentlemen, guess what? One more map to decide the championship here. We are at 2 apiece.
I am absolutely loving this series.
And nobody else can stay in time. The overtime clock will start to run out. The only person left is the Genji, who dies. And ladies and gentlemen, for the first championship, it is the Dream Team that wins it in a 3-2 final series.
administration. Item number 6, staff presentation / information. Item 1, esports recognition. Dr. Alvarez.
Thank you, Board President, members of the board, community. We had a presentation for the board today on our championship for esports. If you remember, we had the championship conducted here at the Wanabe Center. And there was a team that won. Today was supposed to be the opportunity to present them with their trophies once they had their names put onto the glass trophies and the awards they got. And so I'm just gonna have the presentation. It's just a 1 minute, just over a minute presentation for you to see. And then I'll have Alan just give a couple of comments. He's a representative from Care Group to talk about it. And unfortunately, I understand the kids had to get home for school studying and all that. So thank you.
We are at 2 apiece.
I am absolutely loving this series.
Do they touch is the question, and nobody touches. That's it. Seabox is going to win your map number 1, so they fight, but they miss the point. Final 2 meter. No one's going to touch, and we have a tie series.
What a play, what a play.
The overtime clock runs. The wrecking ball is there, but the wrecking ball doesn't touch, and Seabox able to get themselves a second point. And look where this teleporter is, by the way. They teleport on top of the ramp, and no one's there. Nobody's there. That ticket's already going to get content. And ladies and gentlemen, guess what? One more map to decide the championship here. We are at 2 apiece.
I am absolutely loving this series.
And nobody else can stay in time. The overtime clock will start to run out. The only person left is the Genji, who dies. And ladies and gentlemen, for the first championship, it is the Dream Team that wins it in a 3-2 final series.
It is on. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Alan Zach. I'm the president of the Care Group, and we were honored to administer this esports tournament, first of its year at Bassett High School. We had an incredible turnout. We had 8 teams. We had 14% females participate. They built an amazing game room for the students to participate in. And also it was very nice to see some familiar faces come to the championship in early December. Tonight was about to recognize them and to really thank the top two teams who competed in that championship. What they received today was a championship package trophy, championship trophy. They're going to be getting a championship ring, which is not here today, but we're going to be giving it to them at the end of March, shipping delays. They're also going to be getting a trip to Activision Blizzard, which is the game maker of the game we played, Overwatch. And they're going to be having lunch with game designers to talk about careers. Because at the end of the day, this program is about career exploration in the STEAM fields, not playing games. And they're also, throughout the tournament, was able to talk to experts, subject matter experts in the STEAM fields, engineers, mathematicians, scientists, about how they played games in high school and middle school and where they are today. And a lot of students connected with those professionals and understood. And I was really excited to hear when I was talking to the two teams, what their career aspirations were and what they're going to be majoring, especially the seniors that are graduating. And we had several people interested in mechanical engineering, and we had several people interested in the sciences. And that's exactly what this program is about. We know statistically that 70% of high school students consider themselves gamers, either casual or hardcore. And of that 70%, 2/3 go on to major in a STEAM field. So we see a huge connection between gaming and interest in STEAM fields and careers. So again, we are so honored to be working with you. We look forward to continuing this amazing tournament. And we know the student interest is already growing. From this last year we had it, students are already interested in what they're going to do this coming year.
Thank you. And we will be running a summer program for the esports this summer at Bassett High School.
Yes, and again, we are so thrilled to be working with Amy Chen to put together a program where students can engage in gaming, but more importantly, understand how gaming can take their aspirations into careers. So that summer will dovetail into the fall tournament.
Right, thank you.
Thank you very much. We move on to item number 2, one-time state and federal revenue presentation, COVID-ESSER funds. Dr. Alvarez.
Thank you, Board President, members of the board community. I'm gonna have Ms. Rajiv present today an update on all the one-time money the district has received over the last couple of years from the federal government, some of it from states, the current balances of them, how much has been spent, how much still expended, and when the district has and to spend it, how much time left, and what they can be spent on. Mrs. Rajiv, go ahead.
Hello. Good evening, Board President, board members, superintendent, community, and colleagues. I'm happy to present on COVID-19 one-time funds from federal and state beginning from March 2020, which is when the pandemic began. So in the following slides, I'll share the different one-time funding sources we received by year and the expenditures in each of those years and the carryover funds. So Senate Bills SB 117, they appropriated $100 million from the state general fund for the COVID-19 local educational agency response funding. That was the first funding that we received, was announced by California State in March 2020. This was for the purposes of purchasing personal protective equipment or paying for supplies and labor for cleaning on school sites. This was the first one-time COVID relief funds received in April 2020. And that's the SB 117. The next one is the learning loss mitigation funding authorized by 2021 budget package. They set aside $5.3 billion with 3 funding methodology. Based on our supplemental concentration funding, they gave us the CR fund, coronavirus relief fund. And then based on our LCFF funding for each school district coming out of the state's general fund. And then based on the special education student count, the CARES Act Governor's Emergency Education Relief Funds were given. So these funds were to be used for addressing learning loss, extending instructional school year, additional academic services for students, health counseling, mental health services, and to address transportation and other needs for the school sites. And AB 86 set aside a relief package of $6.6 billion to education agencies as school reopening grants. 1/3 of the funding, I think it's covered in the next one. So we received $5.2 million in 2021. These are all, I just want to reiterate that all these one-time funding are auditable items, so which means that it has to follow the allowable uses set by the criteria that is set by CDE or the federal funding requirements. We have to meet all of that before we spend this, and this year they audited almost 75% of our samples were audited by the auditors for 2021. This is the expenditure. If you see here, we have 5.2 million of expenditures. I think I skipped that. Is it working, Alice? I don't think I can move. So this is summarizing the expenditures by the funding source. Although we received 7.2 million, we spent 5.2 million within the. Yes, we spent 5.2 million. This slide details how we spent the 5.2 million. If you look at it, we have laptops. That was the first purchase we made so that the students will have laptops on the online distance learning model. And then the personal cost is all the transportation team and some of the health assistants and health technicians And some of the staffs who were doing the COVID modified duties, they were all charged under the one-time funds. And then we also set aside $41,000 to child nutrition program because we got the summer seamless program, which really served all children 18 and under within our county. And then the no-touch water coolers were installed on all the school districts, all the school sites. And then personal protective equipment, this is all about the mask, shields, face shields, and gown, nitrile gloves, disinfectant sprayer, and hand sanitizer, and then hand sanitizer dispenser, and then gels for the next 2 years. So all of that under personal protective equipment. Then special ed classroom. So what did we buy for special ed classroom? We actually had to buy individual items for each special ed student based on their need, like sensory or motor skill need. And then we also purchased, I think they created a calming room. So wherein they invested, they bought a lot of supplies for the calming room. And then, they bought some mini trampoline, and they also bought some sensory and hearing. Each student's need, based on their need, they purchased all their equipment, like a stationary bicycle and sensory motor equipment and scanner for each psychologist, pathologist, and teachers in the special ed classrooms. And the next one is classroom supplies. Here we got the classroom supplies is the the hand sanitizing stations and the desk shield, and all of those things were purchased for each classroom for each student. And we also bought some headsets. Yeah, we purchased a lot using this one-time funds to follow the COVID protocols. And the next one is the student learning and hotspots. Yes, we paid for the T-Mobile hotspots were purchased for students. It was given to students. And then technology upgrade is all the cards and then the podiums for the teachers. And then we had, this is for the disinfectant sprayer. It was a tool for all the custodians so that they can spray and clean within 2 seconds. So that those cleaning tools were purchased. And then school site is like the thermal screening. We bought some thermal screening kiosk, and then we purchased for them the COVID signs. So anything and everything for school sites to get them prepared for COVID reopening. And then the others here is we also use this fund strategically for some of the expenditures that would qualify because there were some changes in regulations to accommodate that. So we use the AP exam fees based on the UPP student count. We use the other section covers that. And then we bought some microphone and headphone for students, and those are covered under the others. And technology upgrade is the UPS, the uninterrupted power supply batteries we purchased for all sites because of the distance learning, to accommodate the distance learning. Then this one, you can see we have a carryover, right? We had 7.2 million we received in 2021. We spent 5.2 million. So we had $2 million carryover from 2021. This is allowed to be spent every one of these one-time funds has an expiry date. So we are following that and strictly trying to make sure that we exhaust the funds that expire first. So that's why these are carry forwardable funds. So we have 2 million, and then we have ESSER 2 and ESSER 3. So totally we have for 21-22 current year, 19 million to work with. So these are the expenditures so far as of February 15, 2022. So this is the retro cost is 1.6 million. We used the in-person instruction grant, which was $1.4 million. So we went above that, but we still, so we pay the retro pay for all staff. And then the personal cost here is for some of the positions which are still doing a part-time COVID duties, COVID tracing protocol, or working on safety and risk management. Those are allowable expenditures. So those positions, we are independent study teachers. They have all been charged to the one-time funds. And then again, third round of laptops were purchased this year for remaining students. And then special ed contact services. This is for the APTAs and I think this is stepping stones, these contracts, because we were in the closure. So we had to have all of those services provided to our special ed students. That's why we had those contracts added under one-time funds. Then technology upgrade district-wide. So we added firewall security, and then we purchased a server, which is needed again for the all the school sites. And then and then we also have a mobile device management license. And then we had the low voltage data loop installations, and then esports lab setup. So all of that is sitting under the technology upgrade district-wide. And then school site allocation is we gave funds to the school site administrators to spend for some of their needs for each of their sites. So that was $270,000. And then PPE, we continue to spend on PPE because the changes, now it's medically graded mask versus cloth mask. So we keep buying we bought the protective equipment again. And then esports, that's for our, the contract with Carrot for setting up the program, and then for the esport devices. And then the next one is the HVAC chiller repairs. This is something, again, all of these expenditures were well thought out, and we reach out to CDE or auditors to see whether these are allowable expenditures, because we don't want is at the end of the day using one-time funds and coming back and it is disallowed and we have to use our general fund based funding. So every single expenditure here has been optimized using the one-time funds, again, to make sure that we spend the money the way under the criteria, and to improve our base fund balance, unrestricted fund balance. And then online tutoring and subscription, that's for our 24/7 tutoring services and for next gen math subscriptions. And then again, hotspots for this year's fees for next 1 year. And then IRD assessments and professional development. And then we have this, we also set aside funds for uniform for every single sports uniform was purchased brand new this year. And then the marquee in Bassett High School repair DJ locker room, we changed the carpet, and then we had the lockers, new lockers added over there because we added the 8th grade over there. And then we have independent study curriculum, cyber school was added, and then custodial supplies to refill all the refills for the sprayers we got. And then dual immersion, we had a camp advertisement for the district-wide program to attract and retain students. And then the others. So that's for the training at the San Bernardino County office. And then other one is also, it's a folding machine that we purchased for mailers. And then the parent communication is the parent square, and then multi-purpose audio and visual. This is the remaining balance that we had to pay for the multi-purpose room in all our school sites. Again, this is one of those items trying to be creative at the same time following the criteria. So we use that to repair all our audio visual equipment. So this is the 21-22 expenditures and encumbrances as of last week. So 5.5 million. So we spent 5.5 million of, so I wanted to now share. So this is the remaining one-time funds as of last week. SB 117, the expiry date, there's no expiry date, so we haven't spent that funds. And then gear and ESSER, we have to spend end of this fiscal year, and then we do have additional 3 months. ESSER 1 is 100% spent. Then ESSER 2 is the 4.1 million. So we have 2 years actually to spend, more than 2 years, but we have almost down to 1.2 million there. And then in-person instruction grant is used for the retro for last year, and then ELO and ESSER 3 and EEPG. So these three, so if you see here, the balance to spend column, that shows 13.8 million is the fund that we still have, we still have to spend. And on the left, the carryover and allocation is the 19.3 million that we received. We had, as of July, when we began this year, we started with 19.3 one-time funds. So now we still have to spend 72%. But I wanted to say, out of that 72%, I'm highlighting 1.2 million. Why? Because that has little flexibility in spending. ELO, ESSER 3, and EEBG, I know board approved in December. So those funds are strictly have to be spent according to the board approved plan. The only flexibility we have is with the ESSER 2. So if you see here, expanded learning opportunity grant, ESSER 3, and educator effectiveness block grant, they are to follow strictly the plan that's approved by board, and we cannot use these funds for ongoing races. So if you really, I just want to go back and show out of 13 million, 13.8 million, we only have flexible 1.2 million at our discretion to spend for COVID-related preparation or mitigate or prevent for. Those are the three criteria they always ask us to answer before we buy or purchase or spend on anything. So I just wanted to share that. So this 12.4 million of the 13.8 million is already been, we have a plan to spend and we are going to follow the plan. I'm at the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Question regarding the expanded learning opportunity funding. I know you have it as grant. Is up? I know there's two sources of funding: the ELOG and ELOP. Is the ELOP in there at all?
It's an ongoing increase, so I've not added ELOP here.
Got it. Okay.
Any other questions? Right, Mr. Rajiv, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate this.
Thank you.
Item number 3, LCAP supplements to the annual update and mid-year report. Dr. Alvarez.
Thank you, Mr. Bras, members of the board. Dr. Kennard will be presenting the annual update to the LCAP as well as the supplement and mid-year report.
Good evening, board president, board members, superintendent, and Bassett community. This evening, we're going to be presenting some information regarding the mid-year LCAP update. A little bit of background on this presentation. AB 130 requires the districts to present an update on 2 items: the annual update for the LCAP and the budget overview for parents. The LCAP update must include the following items: a supplement, of which was attached to the board agenda, and the available mid-year outcome data related to the metrics and the action. So the impact to the budget overview for parents, as you can see here, there was additional funds that were not anticipated when the original budget was adopted. In the columns here, 21-22 adopted budget amounts. And then the 21-22 first interim budget amount shows a difference. The last column shows a difference between those amounts. And so we'll talk a little bit about some of those funds this evening. The supplement, remember there's going to be a supplement portion and then the LCAP data portion. So the supplement portion, there's 5 prompts. And prompt 1 asks the district to explain some of the engagement for some of the Budget Act funds. Prompt 2 asked us to speak to the concentration funding. Prompt 3 asked us to speak again to the engagement for the ESSER 3 funds. The implementation of ESSER 3 would be prompt 4. And then lastly, the fiscal alignment of our resources with the LCAP. So these items were part of the presentation or part of the packet that you've already seen. But prompt 1, the engagement with our educational partners for the Budget Act funds. And those are the EEBG. And that came to the board in November of 2021. There's a couple of new items here. The A through G completion improvement grant should be coming to the board in March of 2022. The high school administrators and the site leadership team, along with the staff and students and parents, are currently working to develop a draft of their plan. And again, that will be presented to the board for approval in March of 2022. The Expanded Learning Opportunities Program. So this is the program as opposed to the grant. This is an ongoing source of funding. And again, Bassett administrators are collaborating with our Think Together representatives on all aspects of this program. The principals will be participating in a planning session. We've worked with Think Together to send out a parent survey. So this is ongoing funding that will be, the plan should be submitted for board approval in March of 2022. A lot of interesting, and it's an expanded day for our students. And so that's what the ELOP program is about. The last one here is the pre-K or universal TK planning and implementation. Again, the administrators are participating right now in a webinar series. To learn more about it, we're working closely with child development and our site principals to develop an implementation plan, and that should be coming to the board for approval in June of 2022. So that's prompt 1, engaging our educational partners. Prompt 2, ask us to speak to the concentration funding, the additional concentration funding. So Bassett intends to utilize those additional funds to increase the number of instructional aides and intervention teachers at each school site. These are the people that are providing direct services to students in the form of small group instruction, additional time and support. And the focus areas will be on early literacy and numeracy in TK3 and ELA and math interventions for the other schools, grade levels. Prompt 3, this is a slide that I really didn't know whether we were included or not, but what it is because it's so dense, there's a lot of information here, but I think the most important piece here is districts were asked to report on the partner engagement for the ESSER 3 funding. And as you can see here, this did come to the board already, and it was, we hosted several ESSER 3 planning meetings. We consulted with our labor union representatives. We sent out surveys and we received some written feedback. So that was all with our educational partners engagement for the ESSER 3 funds. The implementation of the ESSER 3 expenditure plan is partly on hold, so to speak, because we're doing the same, for many of the funds, we're using the same funds for ongoing programs and services. So for example, the first section here speaks about the HVAC equipment upgrade. So that is not an example of what we're doing with the ELO funds, but we're working to, those fundings will be utilized in the 22-23 school year for the ventilation upgrade. But there are some custodial support and health assistance support that we're currently using our ELO funding for, and then the ESSER 3 plan will pick those expenses up at the appropriate time. Addressing the loss of instructional time. This is where we have our interventionists, our TOSAs, instructional assistants, math intervention teachers, our program specialists, and our site community liaisons. So much of these items are already implemented, utilizing our ELO funds, as I said, and then for the second year out, we'll be able to continue those support services using our ESSER 3 funds. The remaining funds in ESSER 3, we were able to write into the plan some additional attendance hardware with Synergy and some VAPA materials at the high school, and those are being processed. Again, technology supports, technicians, and supplies are all being implemented with ELO funds, and will continue with our ESSER 3 funds. The last prompt asked the district to speak to the alignment of the fiscal resources that are consistent with the LCAP. So there you can see in LCAP Goal 1, Action 8, it aligns with ESSER 3, page 7. And then the second part is Goal 1, Actions 1 and 2, align with both the ELO grant and the ESSER 3 expenditure plan. So part of our planning sessions, a cornerstone of our planning sessions has always been the continuity of programs and services and safe in-person learning. These are the same objectives that we have for the purpose and the outcomes of our district LCAP. The community needs were derived from our consultation with our educational partners, and we're ongoing consultation with our parents, our partners, our educational partners to monitor these plans. Those were the 5 prompts in the supplement for the LCAP. The next section here deals with the LCAP, the metrics and the actions. So I wanted to add this slide here because this slide here just speaks to a little bit of the structure. I have several slides that are coming up, and we have 3 goals in our LCAP. For each of the goals, there is a section for metrics. How are you going to measure that goal, attaining that goal? And the second section of that, of each of our goals, is actions. What actions are you going to be taking to achieve the goal? So with that in mind, I'd like to begin the second part for the mid-year update, LCAP metrics and actions and expenditures. And as this graphic shows, all the way to the right, some of our metrics and actions will be known, some of the things that we already know. Some of the things are in progress, and some of the things have not started yet. So as we go through this mid-year update, just need to keep in mind that these are some of the areas that will fall for each of our actions and our metrics. So goal 1, all students will learn at high levels. That is our LCAP goal 1. These are the metrics. How will we measure that? Our SBAC ELA, our SBAC math, our CAST assessments. And this chart shows what the baseline was when we wrote the LCAP, a desired outcome in the LCAP. But our mid-year update is we don't have that data available. The students haven't taken the SBAC for this year yet, so the outcomes are unknown. Other metrics for goal 1 are the percentage of ELs who made progress. Again, that will be part of our LPAC, those that are scoring at a level 4 or more. Baseline, desired outcome, mid-year, we don't have that data available yet. Our EL reclassification rate, the baseline was at 15% in 2021, and then our desired outcome is to move that up to 18%. And currently at the end of January, we are at a 12.65%. And continuing to reclassify as students meet the criteria. The last section of the metrics for goal 1 are access to standards aligned instructional materials. We're 100% on that. We continue to be 100% on that. Facilities at a good repair, we're 100% on that as well. Fully credentialed, appropriately assigned teachers, where our desired outcome is 100%. We were 100% at our baseline. Mid-year update is unavailable at this time. Access to a broad course of study. Again, 100% our course of study is, there's a broad course of study in all of our elementary schools, middle schools, and our high schools. So then there's the actions portion of goal 1. These are the actual actions that are written into our LCAP. Increasing student achievement, focusing on our English learners. The budgeted expenditure is 1.2 million. Our estimated actuals is again 1.2 million. And what is it? What are the pieces to that action? TOSAs, our intervention classes. The second one there is math interventions. You can see our math task force and the materials to have that task force. Enrichment opportunities, field trips, music center. Due to the pandemic, activities may occur in spring. We're looking forward to having our students go back out into field trips and be able to participate in that. So we have a budgeted amount for that. English learner progress. We have site EL task force and our language assessment aids. Additional resources, library and tech access. As you can see here, this action comes in the form of technology, technicians, devices, internet access, and our library media techs. Increasing academic support. This is a large entry, as you can see. And this is our TK3 class settings, the reduced class settings. So this is where the line item is in our LCAP for that. And the actions, the last actions for goal 1 are our Williams piece, our base materials, our base facilities, and the properly assigned credentialed teachers. And you can see the budgeted amounts for those in the LCAP. And you can see there on the right, the implementation notations. And the last one there, enrichment for dual immersion and GATE programs. We have 2 dual immersion teachers and our GATE leads. That is goal 1. Goal 2 and 3 are not as extensive, but the structure will remain the same. Goal 2 is Bassett Unified School District will be safe and student-centered for all. And you can see here the metrics. There are quite a few metrics for this goal: attendance rate, absenteeism, suspension, expulsion, high school graduation rate. We do have some mid-year data for this, so I'll call your attention to the 3rd column. And our attendance rate, we're at 94.96. That's COVID related, maintaining the same. Chronic absenteeism, as you can see, it's very high to date, and that again, COVID related. Our suspension rate has gone down to 0. Our expulsion rate the same. Our high school graduation rate, we're at 88.8 last year, and the county also across the state, the county is at 86.3. Metrics for goal 2 continue on the next slide. High school dropout rate, middle school dropout rate, our state standards being implemented, and then it goes on to some parent participation, parent involvement, and decision making. Again, to the 3rd column over where it talks about mid-year update. So our high school dropout and our middle school dropout rate are 0. We're maintaining 100% of our state standards implementation. Our parent participation. So this is information derived from our parent surveys. And at this time, that information is not known. We do an annual parent survey to measure our progress there. Again, metrics for goal 2, parent participation for UDP pupils. Some of these were metrics that LCAPs must include. So there are quite a few for this goal here. Safe and school connectedness. This is our the California Healthy Kids Survey. We obtained information from that survey to find out about students feeling connected. Our parents, again, we do a parent survey, and teachers, we also are going to be adding I feel safe and connected at schools into our teacher survey. The last measure there, the metric there, is the FAFSA completion rate. And you can see that it was 72%. We'd like it to get up to 82%. We're currently working on that as well. Then these would be the actions for goal 2. Increasing our attendance and reduce the chronic absenteeism. And how do we do that? We work with Saturday schools, our health office assistants, social emotional well-being, our counselors, our school counselors at each of the school sites. Increase social emotional well-being support. So our school safety monitors, wellness program, the sports program for the elementary and middle. Not the largest budget there, but we have coupled that with our Title IV dollars so that we could have a full program for our after-school sports. Goal 3 is students will graduate college and career ready. This is the last goal in the LCAP. And here again, the metrics are the AP exam pass rate with a 3 or higher. Many of these are not known at this time because this will be measured at the end of the school year. Our early assessment program in ELA and in math, our A through G completion, the CTE pathway completion, and then there's a measure that we put in A through G and CTE completion. So we have some students that are working on both. The actions for this goal are college and career enrichment, the academic competitions. COVID has put a hold on all of that, but we still have our No Excuse University program. Our CTE pathways, we have CTE teachers and our dual enrollment Mount SAC program. And our college and career and language development. Again, field trips have put a hold on our students going on our field trips. So in closing, the COVID pandemic continues to provide some challenges for many of these items to be implemented. However, we're continuing to work to provide the necessary services to our students. And we just want to sincerely thank and acknowledge the hard work and dedication of all of our employees, our parents, and the resilience of our students. Thank you very much. That concludes my presentation.
Questions?
I do have a couple questions, but thank you, first of all, for doing all this work. It looks monumental. The first question is just kind of curiosity. What do you have an enrichment and dual immersion and GATE programs under Goal 1? What do the GATE leads do? Just out of curiosity.
So gate leads in the past have been there's one identified at each of the elementary and middle schools, and they will go in and they help with the identification of our GATE students. And currently we're administering the Naglieri assessment. So they'll take the lead on that. There's a few, and then if there's a GATE program at that school, each school identifies their own program for the after school enrichment part. And so in years past, those are some of the activities that they would lead. Also making sure that other teachers knew who the GATE identified students were. So the GATE liaison, we would have monthly meetings. But again, COVID has put a little bit of a hold on many of those items, but those are what the GATE lead individuals would do.
Once the pandemic allows, will we be able to send those teachers to training like the old USC training?
So we brought in the training, I believe her name is Tomlinson.
Yeah.
Was brought in the year that I began here, and she provided some training for the GATE leads, who was then, the plan was to have them go out and provide that differentiation for others. We have taken on that PD differentiation for all students as a district professional development, but we would love to be able to get a guru like that back in front of all of our teachers to provide that information and those skills.
And the last question, I'm very impressed by the 71 pass with a score or higher on our baseline. How many students did that include on the AP testing?
So, can you ask me that again?
That's under Goal 3 metrics. It was the AP pass rate with a score of 3 or higher. We have as baseline 71%. How many students took that test? Do you know?
I'm going to have to look into if it's not listed there.
Because that's a really good rate of passage.
Yes, the students in our Spanish AP courses do extremely well on this test and really help boost that score. But I can find out the exact number of students.
Do we offer 4 years of Spanish, by the way, before they get into AP, or is it possible?
4 years of Spanish? I don't believe it's, I believe it's 3 years of Spanish.
It's 3 years and then AP. Okay, thank you.
I have one comment. So the desired outcomes, they're based on the 2020, 2021 baseline.
The baseline was, we wrote it in 2021. So some of them had to be taken. If there wasn't any data, we had to take 2019-20 for our baseline. But if that was the case, then we indicated that.
I think my only comment would be, because I saw that the baseline for like just even the submitted FAFSA applications was at 72%. The next, the desired outcome is 82%. I feel like that's kind of an easier goal, I guess, or metric to kind of target. So I just, I think that's where my first question was in terms of how we came up with the desired outcomes. I imagine it's based on the baselines, but that's just one thing that just jumped out at me in terms of it's not a, I don't think.
We'd like to see that higher.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a difficult outcome to get to 100%, frankly. So I look at that and I'm kind of wondering, what can we do to get it to that point? So that would be my only comment.
So that was a question that was, we just asked today, and I know the College Career Advisor at the high school is really working diligently on this, and for, I don't know what reason, but they are coming up again. I guess it's statewide, just for sure countywide, having a little difficulty in getting the students to complete the FAFSA, even with the one-to-one support, as well as the DREAM Act applications, but focusing in on that because we have about a month left to really increase those numbers. So yeah, they're diligently working on that as well.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I have a question, please. So, okay, on prompt 2, use of additional concentration funding. You have here increase the number of instructional aides and intervention teachers, TOSAs. So question, with the pandemic, have the interventionists actually been going to the students, or are the students coming to them? Or with this pandemic, how is that working? And have we indeed increased the number of instructional aides? If so, how many? By how many?
So yes, a couple, let me
That's a
take
lot of
those.
questions in one.
That's okay. So as the TOSAs are in recruitment right now, the TOSAs, we're having a difficult time. We haven't found these are additional TOSAs, one interventionist at each site. So this is a position that we're actively recruiting for. The instructional aides, they have been recruited. And then I can go back and say that we do have some TOSAs that are providing interventions, but those were our ongoing interventions. These are additional to the interventions that we have going on right now. So we do have a couple of math TOSAs that go to 2 school sites, and they were working with pull-out groups of students. During the pandemic, we put a hold on that for a couple of weeks, make sure everybody was safe. And then we resumed 6 feet apart, masks on, and that kind of thing. We also have TOSAs that are at the district office that have gone out to the sites to support 2 of the elementaries, to work with our, to provide interventions, just specifically to the impacts of COVID on those students. So 2 of our district TOSAs are also out at sites. But what's written about here are additional interventionists that we would like to hire, 1 at each school site. And as I said, that's being recruited. And the other part is the aides, the instructional aides. Those have been there. They've gone through all of the interviewing process, and I understand the principals are just doing their final selections now. So those instructional aides would be at the school sites. We identified how many in the plan, and then we've also identified additional instructional aides for specifically for English learner students, 1 at each school site, specifically a separate instructional aid for SPED students. Really looking to see all of the impact that COVID has had on our students and where the need is, and we'll be putting these resources to those needs.
Okay, and thank you. So my next one is goal 2 metrics. So as you know, that safety of our students is very important, and we want our students to feel safe here while they're on campus. Safety and school connectedness, 67% agree. So I go over to the desired outcome and 90% agree. So we still have some is that what we're saying? With parents that still don't feel safe sending their kids to school?
So the desired outcome is how we would like to increase from 67 to 90% by the time this LCAP is fulfilled.
Okay, and then the FAFSA, 72% completed a FAFSA in 2021, and 82% submitted actually a FAFSA?
So 82% was the goal, to get 82%, but as we were speaking, that seems to be a little low. We can all agree on that. So we would like
It
to
is.
maybe move that to a little bit higher.
Okay, and the last one is, and you know, we've had this conversation before. So we have a 98% graduation rate, or goal is to get to 90, what'd you say? Okay, so of that, like 98% graduation rate, where are we percentage-wise for students that are college career ready?
So our CCI indicator, our college and career ready indicator, is that the indicator that you're asking me about? So at this point, our college and career indicator is at 34, I believe it's at about 34%.
So of those 98, 30, only of the 98%, only 34% are college career ready?
Yes.
That number seems lower than what it was last time when we had a conversation where it was 40 something.
For college and career, so I'm hoping I'm understanding your question correctly, but the college and career indicator, I believe it's at 34, are approaching. So those are the ones, the students that are met. Then there's another metric right underneath that, and that's the students that are approaching. We have a good number of our students that are approaching the 30 that met, but that's a college and career indicator. So I'm not sure about the 40%, but I don't believe that we've been at the 40% yet.
Okay, so maybe it's far-fetched for me to say, but I would like to say it would be nice if the majority, the higher percentage, closer to the 98 are college career ready. Absolutely. But the number is concerning to me that only 30+% are ready to move on to either career or to college. Especially
Absolutely.
since if we're looking to do the dual enrollment for early college and things like that.
So we 100% agree. This is a relatively new indicator. The CCI indicator has just been maybe in the last year or two, probably 2 years now. And so we're understanding the metrics have changed on that a little bit, but we're sharing that at every coffee with the principal and with all of the principals that we are interacting with and our teachers. So we can see exactly how this new indicator is reached. And so they've just changed it a couple of times. It does now, we understand that it includes all the A through G, all the CTE completers, all the AP, everything that we put into our LCAP as our metrics were taken straight from the CCI indicator. So yes, 34% is not adequate. And we're looking to, as we focus on that with dual immersion and all of the different things that we're doing at the high school, we're looking to really have that number increase. Thank you. You're welcome.
Questions? Any other questions? Good. Thank you, Dr. Medina Kennard. All right, we move on to item number 7, written communications. Item number 8, public comments. The Board of Education welcomes input from the public in order to conduct district business in an orderly manner for privacy and safety of the speaker. To help staff respond more directly, board policies require public presentations to the board comply with certain procedures, including speakers may address only items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. When addressing board, speakers are requested to state their name, address the board from the podium, and adhere to the applicable time limit of 3 minutes. Total time allotted for public input on agenda or non-agenda items is limited to 20 minutes. Complaints should follow the district complaint procedure before discussion with the board. PTA, Bassett Teacher Association. Next is CSEA, California School Employee Association. Vasquez.
Good evening, board. Dr. Alvarez, executive directors, Bassett community, and my brothers and sisters in CSCA and BTA. Can you please join me at the podium? I'd like to thank you for this time, and I would like you to look at your future retirees. We all want to retire from Bassett, but we also need the respect that we have earned so that we can retire with honor. Retirement is what I want to speak to you about today. I want to call your attention to see if you can right a wrong that was done to 2 of our recent retirees. The district has denied these 2 retirees the early retirement incentive, which is written into our contract. Unfortunately, the board took no action on that early retirement incentive, which is also written to our contract and states the board needs to approve. District went ahead and denied it anyway without board action. I would like to ask this board that when these 2 retirees' incentives do come up before you in the near future, that you approve their early retirement incentive, which has been approved every time one of our members has retired and chose this early incentive. I want to make sure that the board honors our retirees. These two retirees put 30+ years into Bassett. Deserve the respect they have earned, as we all do. I'm hoping that this board will honor our contract, which we signed in good faith. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. Next, we have Apolonia Sullivan.
Good evening again. Over a week ago, I know that Simpson quit, which is a sad thing that people abuse and are allowed to retire or get a new job without being held accountable. Unfortunately, Leslie Valdez is still there. That's a problem. That's a problem that we don't address this. So I wanted to also let the board know that sometimes when you guys act unprofessional, which is sometimes, or we hear of your behavior, like honestly, when I heard last week that somebody stood here and said, if you work for Bassett, stand up. If you're a teacher, stand up. And you participated on that, where you parents try to do that and you guys go crazy. Let's play that game. If you're a board member that is slimy and a liar, please stand up, Dodo Bird. If you're a teacher that was caught with pictures on the high school where the girls dress, please stand up. If you abuse kids because your frustration or whatever it is, please stand up. It's not that easy to advocate for the right thing. Trust me, I know. So that's important. I wanted to say that the atmosphere created is created by the board and their history and Dodo Bird. The teachers cannot put you in a position, even though they've already assured you they were going to pay for your application and help you and do everything for you, all the legwork. Are you making deals behind doors? You don't think that we as community find out? Has everything I ever stood here is full of shit? I don't think so. I might be off a little bit on my compass, but I know I'm pointing north. That's wrong. That's demeaning and disrespectful for the rest of the boards. I have my beef with all of them, but you of all people have slime and turn your back and utilize board members, community, and even teachers to get what you want. And I don't even understand why. Your brother should not be promised a position as a principal at the continuation school. And we wonder why community leaves. I spoke to a mom, took 3 kids out of the district, she moved. And I hadn't spoken to her since September. And she says, ever since I know what they did to you and how they were not addressing the issue, she said, I've learned one thing. So in my new school, this is what I do. I go, I fill forms, I make sure my kids are safe, and the hell with and being involved. That's what this has created, negativity for years to come. So we'll talk in the next one.
Thank you, Ms. Sullivan. Next, we have Richard Mena.
Good evening, everyone. I know it's late, so I'll make this brief. The reason I'm here is first off to introduce myself. My name is Richard Mena. I'm a member of the community. I came to school here in Keenan Elementary, towards junior high. Mr. Watanabe was my principal. My mom still lives in the community. She retired from Bassett Unified School District after 30 years of service. The reason that I am actually here was At the last board meeting, the position for the lead bus driver was tabled, and I'm somewhat concerned as to why it was tabled. And I'm here just to clear my name. I was hoping that there would be someone here to, I know there was a lot of back and forth rumors and finger pointing and some phone calls that were made, and I'm here to address these folks. And I guess no one's here, so thank you for your time, and hopefully you will be encouraged to appoint me to that position today. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Mena. That concludes public comments. Item number 899, Superintendent's comments. Dr. Alvarez.
Thank you, Board President Ross, members of the board. Just a few comments. Once again, it was great to see all the trophies and the prizes for the students who won in the esports competition here. It was a huge success, in my opinion, and you talk to the students, they agree. We're offering it second semester so that our students who were in sports, who weren't able to participate, can participate as well. And as we move forward with that program for next year and expanding it, our goal is to bring it to Torch Middle School as well for our eighth graders as they transition from Torch to the Bassett High School. They have their teams already built and can continue on as an incentive to go to our high school. In addition to that, I just wanted to touch on a few other things that the district has had a lot of success in this year. One of the big ones is our sports at the Bassett High School. So many of our teams won their league championships, and you heard some of our students talking about it. So I just wanted to give them a big shout out to all the teams and all their successes they've had this year, and we look forward to continuing that as the years come forward and the next years to come. We invested a lot of money in their uniforms and whatever we could do to support the teams. Additionally, as mentioned, we did implement our dual immersion program. We plan to expand that offering in first grade again next year or next grade up. And we have been discussing with Mount SAC an early college program here. We are finalizing the courses. That information will be brought to the board, and as well as the presentation this coming March on how the district will be offering both AB 288, which is a dual enrollment program that allows students to take classes that are college classes to get college credit while attending high school, as well as implementing our early college program as we transition our 10th graders to take more classes so that when they graduate from the high school, they have enough units to maybe have to skip at least a year or two worth of community college. Eventually, we would like it to be a program where you actually are eligible to receive your AA if you take all the courses required and pass successfully. So those are things we currently have going on in the district, and when we look forward into the next school year, I just wanted to make sure we point that out because there are a lot of great things going on in the district and a lot of great things to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alvarez. Appreciate that. Item number 10, board member comments. Mr. Solano.
Yeah, a couple of things. One, thank you for improving the sound in here. It's not 100%, but it's a lot better than it has been for a long time. So thank you for that to staff and the team. Secondly, I just want to recognize, and I know it was here, I missed the last board meeting, and it was mentioned that the passing of Mr. Watanabe, we're here in this building that was named after him. He was somebody who was a lifelong dedicated Bassett employee. He was my elementary school principal, my middle school principal. Then I got to work with him in his capacity as superintendent. It's pretty sad to know that he's gone. But I hope that we honor him in some way, shape, or form. And I know I spoke to Tamiko. We're looking to see about his services and whatnot, so we'll find out what those are. But also I'll mention, I know Mr. Reynoso, a longtime Bassett employee as well, career employee. I believe he passed away as well. And he was a superintendent in this district for a short amount of time. And while I might not have agreed with the leadership during that time, he was a guy who was dedicated to this district and loved it through and through. So I want to recognize those two individuals for their lifetime commitment to Bassett and recognize them when they're passing.
Thank you, Mr. Solano. Mrs. Boris.
Good evening, Bassett. Okay, so I would like to also extend a congratulations to all our high school sports that did very well. Thank you, Edgewood, for the water bottles. They're very nice. Good job. there. I know ASB worked really hard. I got to volunteer my time for some of the days that they were doing the parking lot. So good job every year. ASB is doing really good there. So Dr. Alvarez, I'm really excited to see the presentation on the early college that you'll be showing in March. Hoping that we can get that out there, that this is something we're going to be doing. Some of you, for those of you who don't know, we have the stormwater capture project. That project has received like 90% of funding. Hoping to see a presentation, an updated presentation on that for the next board meeting. Okay, also putting it out there. Like to encourage all our parents to join your campus PTA. Sign up for their PTA is an opportunity. Very first word, Parent Teacher Association. So it's a very big opportunity for parents to be able to have a place to voice their concerns, have a say in the activities of their campus. So parents, really look into joining your PTA, support your campuses. So what have I been doing? I had earlier this month, I had a meeting with the La Puente City Council, Councilmember Argudo and the city manager to work on the beautification on the sidewalk right there on Puente Avenue by the high school between Francisquito and Temple. So there are some things coming. I was hoping to have a presentation to present to the fellow board members to see what was their opinions on it. So this is really good. Looking forward to that. They are also City of La Puente is looking to do an educational enhancement program, and they have an ad hoc committee. So I'm looking to see those meetings that we can hopefully be able to partner and get some of our students additional help there. And then the last one was the pros team, which I'll be meeting with on Thursday morning. And they basically take care of the families who are in need, families who are displaced, they're homeless, things like that, and the different opportunities that they offer. So that's going on with that. Also, with regards, as we all know what is going on, earlier this week, I was included in an email that stated fiscal mismanagement over the past several years. So over the past several years, this has led me to believe the situation that we are in fiscally did not happen overnight. And so therefore, it's not how we can't expect to fix it overnight. As I said earlier, for myself, district employees' salaries has been on my radar even before I became a board member. But as a board member and through the training that I've received in my governance classes and other words, I have a clear picture of budget and how the one-time monies as they were presented today. Again, as I stated earlier, let's work together to get to our end goal. Fiscally, we are headed in a positive direction. We're not there yet, but I am confident we are going to get there. So working together, we'll get there faster. Again, please remember, this didn't happen overnight. It can't be expected to be fixed overnight. Thank you, Bassett.
Thank you, Ms. Flores. Ms. Stanzioni.
Good evening. Happy School Bus Drivers Day. I know without my school bus driver, half my kids would never get to class. So thank you to them and their continued concern for our students' safety. Congratulations to the young man at Bassett High School for making All League Most Valuable Player. It's not easy, and he did it. Congratulations to our esports winners, the Dream Team. That night was truly electric. I have never seen a more joyful, exuberant, excitable audience, and that was just the teachers. No, the kids were amazed at this. There were lights, and the sound was amazing, and the kids were having a ball, and they were focused on their future. And connecting that with the STEAM careers is the way to go. It pulls them in and it makes it very doable and very understandable for our students. I continue to look forward to how that grows and develops into those engineering classes and those other science and math classes. It was just stunning to be in this room. It was transformed into I don't even have the words for it. It was just amazing. And last, I'd like to recognize Black History Month and the amazing contributions that were given to our world and now just being recognized. So if you've not done it, realize that the people do give to our world that you might not consider. Just Google anybody from our past, from our various cultures. Next month is Women's History Month, so I recognize that as well, as far as look at the amazing contributions that women have made to our society that have been overlooked. And look at the people that overlap both of those cultures or groups of people. On that note, I will bid you all good night.
Thank you, Ms. Stanzioni. I just want to say thank you to everyone for everything everyone does for Bassett. We do appreciate it. Please stay strong. Keep your heads up and let's continue working together. And I'll just leave it with that. Thank you for everything. Item number 11 says discussion items, but we did not place any. Therefore, we will move to item number 12, consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered by the board to be items that will be enacted by the board in one motion. There will be no discussion of any of these items prior to the time the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent calendar. Can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Second.
Mr. Solano. And a second from Ms. Stanzioni. Right, roll call, Mr. Solano.
Aye.
Mrs. Flores.
Aye.
Ms. Stanzioni.
Aye.
And aye. Motion carries 4-0. This is item number 13, adjournment. Item number 1, our next regular board meeting is March 8th, 2022. Item number 2, adjournment of regular board meeting of February 22nd, 2022. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Stanzioni and Ms. Flores, second. Roll call, Mr. Solano.
Aye.
Ms. Flores.
Aye.
Ms. Stanzioni.
Aye.
And aye. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned at 9:12 p.m.